This is Tim Bryce with my column titled, Capitalism versus Socialism. Do you know the difference? I originally wrote this piece in March 2019 and was pleasantly surprised by the flurry of questions I received regarding the differences between capitalism and socialism. High schools simply do not teach the differences between these two important subjects, hence the interest in my article. So much so, I produced a free mini poster to show the differences, which you can get through my website at timbryce.com. As these two opposing philosophies are key to the upcoming elections in November, I decided to rerun it herein and included it in my latest book, Before You Vote, Know How Your Government Works. First, what is it? First, as to capitalism, it's a socioeconomic system based on private ownership of the means of production and operates for profit. It encourages independence and the rights of the individual over the group. The individual is allowed to try and endeavor, including the development, marketing, and support of products and services for public consumption. The individual is allowed to keep and enjoy the fruits of his or her labors. As to socialism, it is a socioeconomic system based on state ownership of the means of production, not driven by profit. It encourages state dependency and the rights of the group over the individual. The state dictates what products and services are to be developed and who shall produce them. Each person works for the state, not individually, and receives compensation in the form of shared wealth and free services. It's a pseudo-utopia. Next, let's consider how this affects the economy. In terms of capitalism, it believes in a free economy based on private buyers and sellers. Competition flourishes and causes natural evolution of products and services through market demand. It's akin to Darwin's natural selection. Consumers feel free to choose the products and services they want. In terms of socialism, economy is controlled by the state. Little, if any, competition. Buyer has fewer choices to make. In terms of class structure, capitalism has three levels: upper, middle, and lower classes. The middle class powers the economy through purchasing power. Socialism has two levels: a state worker class, also known as master-slave. No middle class, no economic engine, a redistribution of the wealth, and workers become wards of the state. In terms of effect on the individual, in capitalism, independence encourages personal initiative and work ethic, more earning power, but individual assumes risk, enjoys protection of intellectual property such as patents, copyrights, trade secrets, and so on. Employment will experience up and downs due to economic conditions. As to socialism, it discourages personal initiative. Everyone wins, in other words. There's no super rich. Compensation is evenly distributed among workers. Earning power is limited. Individual assumes no risk. The intellectual property is owned by the state, not by the individual. And employment is guaranteed. And finally, the effect on government. In terms of capitalism, personal independence requires freedom and equal rights in order to function. It requires less bureaucracy, smaller government. It flourishes under a republic with democratically elected representatives. In terms of socialism, it creates a dependency on the state, which requires more bureaucracy, a larger government, through regulation as the state controls everything, including food, education, housing, communications, healthcare, energy, transportation, and so on. It hinders rights and loss of liberty, encourages autocratic rule, and you have less freedom. Whereas Republicans tend to embrace capitalism, Democrats tend to embrace socialism, which helps explain the significant void between the two parties. Friends, keep the faith. This is Tim Bryce in Palm Harbor, Florida. Follow me on the internet at timbryce.com.